Decade. It has been nearly a decade since I've seen sacks of rice piled as tall as me in the back corner of a Viet Mart. It has been nearly a decade since I've listened to the intricate intonation of fluid Vietnamese uttered in passing casual conversations. In high school history class, I remember learning about the traumas collected by American soldiers who saw grotesque crimes against humanity during their time in Vietnam. I remember the Vietnamese people as a whole described as savage in their guerrilla warfare ways. I remember feeling ashamed to be related to such barbaric people who traumatized so many heroic white men who were hell-bent on spreading democracy and exterminating communism. It wasn't until my mid-20s that I learned that my father was from southern Vietnam and specifically an island called Phu Quoc. Pieces of my father's history have come to me only through second and third-hand accounts. I've learned from other young Asian Americans that this is normal. Our immigrant parents can't or won't breach the subject of their trauma. They withhold teaching us their native tongues in hopes that we might better assimilate with our peers. As a tattooer, I'm gravely responsible for a number of things, two of which I have trouble ranking as more important than the other. The obvious one is to create good tattoos. The other is fostering a safe environment in which my clients may feel exceptionally vulnerable. What this latter requirement often leads to is not only vulnerability in the physical sense, but also the emotional and psychological vulnerability and conversations shared during the hours I inflict a burning beauty onto their skin and they breathe through controlled pain. After my parents' divorce, my father's once lonely and culturally isolated existence blossomed into something else entirely. Once he became adrift in life as a single man, his distant relatives who were spread throughout the country became a tight-knit embrace. But as he moved further from me and closer to the community he sought, he began to enter a realm where, while in the heart of Texas, no one I met spoke fluent English. I watched him turn from a solitary alcoholic into a cigarette-smoking party animal. I couldn't reconcile the harsh, conservative father he had been with the new, invincible, lively person I was now a sober witness to. Out of fear and feelings of abandonment, I began to excuse myself from these situations entirely. Every fall, I solemnly remark that it has been X amount of years since I've last seen my dad, and this year I will cry as I mark a decade. I will mourn the fact that I have no desire to stop counting the years. Instead, I've decided to claim my Vietnamese heritage as part of my identity for the first time in my life and to use conversations with my peers to do so. For more than 2 decades, there have been Vietnamese American children waiting to bloom, and now we are leaning on each other to bridge the gap between where we came from and where we find ourselves now. Thank you.